Going live, going live. All right, we are live. Why does that stupid thing keep popping up? I don't know. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. It's me, Coach Muddle, and the professor is here on time, punctual because he is the professor, and everybody else will just show up at their leisure, because that's what they do, whenever it's convenient for them, they show up. But that's a different topic for a different time. And right now, how you doing, Professor?
I'm doing well. I'm doing better than the Dallas Cowboys PR department. That's for sure. A lot better than that.
oh, oh man, it is. The I tell you what, it is a little rough going right now for the Dallas Cowboys because uh, you know uh, I think really Tony Pollard was the issue for that.
Yeah.
What?
You talking about the game? I was
Yeah.
talking about. I was talking about the tweet heard around the world, but from their own their own Twitter account. Uh, but yeah, man. Once Tony Pollard went out of the game, the win went out of the sails. Because I'll be honest, Tony Pollard was really having quite an effect on the Niners and was keeping them in that game. So a couple of things were shown. Tony Pollard is an absolute essential part of the Dallas Cowboys and should be paid and retained next year. But also, um, the Dallas Cowboys miss Amari Cooper because I think if you have an Cooper still in uniform, that's a different game, different circumstance. It was a tight game no matter what, but I think that they would have really been sweating it out. And I also think that with Amari Cooper, Prescott doesn't throw as many interceptions as he had this year because it looked like he had the yips when I think it's really just a lack of receiving depth. And I should know, I'm a Ravens fan. I know all about lack of receiving depth.
Yeah, lack of receiving depth is correct. Uh, but you're right. I believe that Pollard did keep them, and once he went out of the game, it just kind of uh, you know, as they say, Dak started doing Dak things. And hold the phone here because we have a special guest coming in from, I don't know, you in the poker room, you in the glory hole, where you at? Welcome, Nevada Nick.
You should be in the glory hole after that beating, Coach. Come on now.
Wait, what are you talking about? We're here to talk about the upcoming game between the Eagles and the Giants.
Yeah,
this week, right?
No, it was a bury the film game for Coach. You don't even want to look at it.
Oh, wait, you mean they played the game already? I guess we got the dates confused, man. I guess the dates were confused.
You got knocked in the last week, Coach.
No, I mean that was a pretty bad beating. It really was. In the fourth quarter, especially, Coach, when you just basically run the ball at a team and they know you're going to run it and you can't stop it. Pretty crazy. And, Coach, I was surprised Dable punted on fourth down 3 scores like that. I mean, to me, that was almost like waving the white flag. I mean, you knew the way they were. And then obviously after that, Eagles go on the 8-minute drive and that was game, set, and match. I mean, but look, the Giants were probably between them and the Jaguars, the worst team left. They don't have the roster they had, but it was a good year for the Giants.
Look, you know what? I felt like the Giants were, the scene in Caddyshack when Bill Murray is sitting there, cutting the bushes with the whacker, going, "Oh yeah, it's a dream season. Yes, it is. Coming out of nowhere. That's the Giants season to me." Right there is what it was. Just excited that we were getting the opportunity to even sniff the playoffs. Got a win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and it goes to show you that how important coaching is. It is about the coaching because I mean,
Coach,
look
we
how
said it last
complete
year,
turnaround it was.
and people would have thought it was crazy. But if I was the Bills, I would have fired McDermott and elevated Daboll just not to lose him because he's that good of a coach. And you saw it Sunday. McDermott got thoroughly outcoached. You can't put it all on him, but 14-0 the way it did. They were just letting Joe Burrow just pick them apart. And Daboll knew how to rein in Allen, kind of like he's done with Danny Dimes. Get rid of the turnovers and a little bit of the two. Josh Allen plays hero ball all the time. Throwing the ball 50 yards down the field when you're down 2 scores on 3rd and 2, you just don't do it. Take what Tom Brady was great at. Take what a defense gives you.
By the way, hello, Nick. It's been a while.
Yep.
How you doing, Professor? Sorry, I just get it. You know me, I get right into it.
You know what? It's okay. But I got to agree with you. It was interesting to me watching 14 up and just seeing how much more comfortable the Bengals were in the away environment. In the snow,
100%.
They look like the bigger, stronger, faster team. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't play like this all the time. Mm-hmm. The Bills do. Why does this look like such a mismatch? It was something.
Well, it looked like the Bills do have that read and react defense a little bit, right. But 100% because the talk was really the Bengals missing 3 offensive linemen. And I actually think the snow helped them because it slowed down the speed, the speed of the Bills defense. And I just didn't understand the Bills defense. 3rd and 10, and you got guys 15 yards back, and they're running 10-yard hitches, catching the ball, and they're still 3-4 yards away. It was just, it was really mind-boggling. And look, Joe Burrow, the story continues, and his aura just grows and grows. The guy, and to me now, he's solidified himself as number 2 behind Mahomes and kind of jumped down, in my opinion.
I agree. I think it's Patrick Mahomes. I think it's Joe Burrow. I think it's Josh Allen, and then it's the rest.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with guys that I work the parking lot with in the morning, mm-hmm. And we were talking about
Yeah, he works the parking lot, all right.
Yeah. Traffic duty. Justin Herbert, has all the tools, but Los Angeles Chargers are a finesse team that just doesn't have, they're not tough.
And another thing too, Professor, me and Coach every year have a couple guys we say, don't understand why you're keeping them. Last year, and every year they get fired the next year. Last year, Cliff Kingsbury. This year, fired.
Yep.
Staley's one of them. Look, I understand, mistakes, and he did get a little bit better this year. But to play the guys week 17, have Mike Williams literally break a bone in his back, okay? Joey Bosa gets dinged, especially with the health problems they had all year. And then you go into the first round of the playoffs, have a 27-point lead and blow it, and still keep your job. Look, we'll see what happens, but there's too much talent on that team to have the results they have. I'd have moved on, and look, if you look in the league now too, it's offensive coach as the head coach and get a defensive coordinator. 7 of the 8 coaches in the divisional round were offensive-minded head coaches, except for McDermott. And you saw how that worked out for McDermott.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it is, and I agree with you with McDermott. I feel like that was kind of like the Giants' problem back in 2001 when they went to the Super Bowl. Their defensive coordinator was Mike Fox, and they wound up losing him.
John Fox,
sorry, and they lost him to
Carolina.
And then we wound up. It worked out. Tom Coughlin came in a couple years later, and the rest is history. So wasn't too bad of a deal for the Giants. But I'm excited at.
Real quick to get your guys' opinion. And I agree with the Professor's top 3. If you ask me to name the top 5, honestly, if I'm going on the future and what I saw this year, I would actually put Jalen Hurts number 4 and then Herbert 5. And the reason being, and look, all the questions Hurts went into this year with, and then to improve like he has. But the one thing he has, just the leadership ability and the work ethic. And how it is, Coach, that was Wentz's biggest problem, to get guys to rally around you and play for you. Burrow's got a lot of it, obviously, too. but he's just made. I love the intangibles with him. I really do, and the work ethic, the chip on his shoulder. Got doubted at Alabama, doubted at Oklahoma, second round pick, doubted for the Eagles, and to be where he's at is quite impressive.
Yep. How he's going to have to get ready to back up the Brinks truck, man.
Yeah.
Well, because hey, each time he gets, that's closer to the Super Bowl you get, the bigger that contract is getting.
Yeah.
And it is what it is,
Well,
so.
and he's got it like they're showing with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. You got to pay Jalen Hurts sooner than later. And
100%.
And Nevada Nick, you hit on the head. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow have that intangible, that leadership factor where the guys want to play for them. Mm-hmm. And they're also, they're confident. They are very confident in their abilities. They're confident in their leadership capabilities. They're confident in getting that win. And Jalen Hurts has proven without a shadow of a doubt this year, all the questions in the offseason, Eagles fans, everybody, Hurts has got that crazy situation now with the talent around him. Mike Weaver just jumped in. Doesn't hurt that.
Sorry.
He's right. He's right. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
he's right.
Yeah, solid line of good defense. He's got crazy weapons, but he's also, like you said, chip on his shoulder. Built like a linebacker, but he handles himself like a leader. Absolutely.
Right. And look too. I mean, all the great teams. Burrow's got 3 great receivers. I mean, Mahomes had crazy talent. I mean, it's what you do with the team, too. And look, you can't deny he's improved. Yes, he's gotten better players, but he's improved. And look, he's got to be able to read the read options and run the offense. And he's done a great job. And look, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. It's interesting offseason, which is Lamar's one of them, Brady, Rodgers. Yep. It's going to be wild. The Giants have 2 questions. What do you do with Barkley? What do you do with Jones? It's going to be pretty crazy. And look, I think you got to look at the Dak situation. And I think that's kind of the Ravens' problem. It's becoming an issue paying these quarterbacks so much money. And then, the team around them kind of falls apart. Dak's a prime example. He is not a $45 million quarterback, and you're paying it to him, and that's why you had to trade Amari Cooper this year and let a player or 2 go. Now, Pollard.
Well, I also think Zeke is part of the issue too, because they're paying him $16 million too for
but
what?
Look at the trend that's really going on in the league, and the Patriots are the kind of the team you don't count because Brady was always taking team-friendly deals. But these teams with quarterbacks on rookie deals, San Francisco doesn't have a quarterback on a big deal because they can fill the roster around them with more depth. The Eagles, when they won the Super Bowl, went on a rookie deal. The Bengals the last 2 years, Burrow on a rookie deal. Mahomes, when he won, on a rookie deal. So it's really a trend that's starting to come on in the league.
Absolutely. You got to try and win it while they're on their first contract,
Now, Professor, would you pay Lamar? Because the one thing that's tough with Lamar, I don't think they've ever given him the weapons on the outside to truly see what his throwing capability could be and what his talents could go at the best level. So, like, for people who want to say about the Eagles, but the Eagles did what they should do for their quarterback and provide him the weapons. But I think Lamar wants a completely guaranteed contract. And with the injuries the last 2 years, which me and Coach said the last years we've been banging what's going to happen, what would you do?
I mean, the Ravens even offered him a fully guaranteed. I think it was like $130 million. So it wasn't anything to sneeze at. It was generational wealth and then some. And he said no to it. So it's a real struggle for me. It's actually a debate that I get in with a couple of my friends every week. We struggle with this. As of last year, when I saw the way Huntley was playing, I would have said no. But then watching Huntley this year, I don't know. But at the same time, no weapons. We talked about this. They have one of the worst wide receiver core in the entire National Football League. They haven't put guys around him. They, for whatever reason, they think that it's just a good idea to draft more tight ends, and that's going to solve the problem. I'm not really sure what they're doing in the front office in that sense. I do feel like if you're going to run that offense, Greg Roman's gone now, so that might change some things. But if you're going to run that offense makes more sense to have a Lamar Jackson clone who you can find, because there's going to be guys, there's going to be running quarterbacks, if you want to use that term. I think that Lamar Jackson has the talent, but we just haven't given him anything to do with.
It's felt like the last few years, And I said it the year they were 14-2. They've had a ceiling. And it's like, I mean, early on, I thought it was partially Lamar not being able to throw the football, especially like that Bills loss in the playoffs. But it's hard to really kind of give him the proper evaluation when you get to the playoffs, you're playing top-notch defenses, because defense is what gets you to the, you got to have a good defense. You don't find many teams have bad defenses that make it through the playoffs. And when you have receivers like they do, it's really hard to get a feel for what he could be. And look, the Ravens are one of the great organizations in football. I mean, they're in the top class. I mean, year in, year out, the Ravens are there. Harbaugh's a great coach. I am surprised they haven't. I mean, his best receiver would probably be Hollywood Brown, who I think on a team is he'd be like a 3 on the Bengals. He might be a 4 on the Bengals. Well, he'd be a 3 on the Eagles.
Hollywood's gone, and he's a 3 on the Cardinals.
No, right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying he was probably the best receiver he had in his tenure.
And they drafted Rashad Bateman, who was going to be drafted to be a number 2.
Right.
And then tried to put him at a number 1. They kept around Duvernay, which wasn't a bad deal, Prochi, but they kept these guys. They kept developing, and they kept talking. The fans like, these were guys that they were really confident with, but the numbers just weren't there.
Yeah.
And then Greg Roman as a coordinator, was a giant travesty. And I think one of the biggest issues they have. I do like Harbaugh, but I feel like in a way there's a little too much hubris and ego and stubbornness, and they stick around with people too long. Mm-hmm. And Greg Roman is part of that, Jim Harbaugh hire. The nepotism there. Greg Roman was a problem for a while.
Yeah.
And you saw Greg Roman get exposed when the Ravens got destroyed by the Titans in the playoff game. So he shouldn't have been there this long. I'd be interested to see if they get if you get a coordinator like the Eagles have, where they can use Jalen Hurts' running ability and his passing ability with some weapons. I'd be interested to see what happens there.
Yeah. Just sometimes just having the fullback out there on throwing downs. And I mean, essentially, it's a waste and it's not like he's like Kyle Juszczyk from San Francisco. Right. It was very just not up to date offensively. It really wasn't. I was.
I said the wing T. It's the wing T version. It's the modern version of the wing T in the NFL.
They outplayed the Bengals the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the one game they didn't play any of their starters, and it was meaningless to them. And it was, Bengals were playing for the division. I mean, look, if Huntley doesn't fumble the ball, 100% the Ravens beat the Bengals that game. I mean, and look, that's with a backup quarterback. And I mean, it shows you what the Ravens have on their team. I'm just surprised, like letting Judon walk. I didn't agree with that. I mean, he's such a great defensive player. And you're kind of wasting a guy like Lamar. And like I said, you've seen the injuries the last 2 years, that window of, especially when he was on the rookie deal, to go out and go get a DeAndre Hopkins. Go grab him. Put him with, and you may see Lamar. I mean, you saw McNabb go to another level when he got T.O. You've seen Hurts go to another level when he got A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. And I think you very well could see the same thing with Lamar.
And I love the idea of Hopkins coming in the offseason. I know that Coach is just begging and pleading and thinks that he's going to the bright lights and big city of New York. But
look, Nevada Nick, you got to agree with me when I say this, though. Mm-hmm. There are so many question marks in Baltimore. If you had your choice, where are you going to go right now? The New York Giants or the Baltimore Ravens?
Honestly,
I mean, their offense is in lead. Why? You have but you don't.
If you're telling me it's going to be Lamar.
Come on, you watched Danny Dimes be able to throw the football.
Coach,
you watched him sling it to a bunch of nobody.
Danny Dimes threw for more than 220 yards 3 games, and 2 of them were against the
but look who he's throwing to.
Defense. The Vikings defense sucked. And look, Danny Dimes was better this year. He was more efficient. But man, I'm not sold. He used his legs
just
more.
Like you said, another level getting somebody who could catch the football.
Yeah, and look, winning and make the playoffs is a lot different than winning and being successful in the playoffs, which I know they beat the Vikings, but let's be honest. The NFC sucked this year. The NFC was bad. There was 3 teams, the Eagles, the Niners, and the Cowboys. That's it. The rest sucked. I mean,
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. Yeah. I'm not arguing that. But you saw Danny Dimes turn the corner, and I've said this. He I'm not looking to sign the guy for long term, but you got to sign the guy for a 3 or 4 year deal that's team friendly and with team friendly, where you can get an opt out. I mean,
okay. I do that, but I wouldn't do something where you're stuck with them for more than
no.
next year.
I don't want to get stuck with him. No, I want it to be team friendly, but I think he's proven that he's the quarterback going forward right now. Today, he's the quarterback. Now you put some pieces around him and he can't go, then we need to move on.
Coach,
The problem too was they got stuck by the terrible GM job of Gettleman. I mean,
because you had Kenny Golladay robbed us $72 million.
You signed Golladay, and then you go draft Tony, who you traded already. I mean, there's just a lot of mistakes there. But no, I mean, like I said, that he's one of the questions that's going to have. I mean, like I said, this is probably going to be the most. And look, that's what's been crazy with the NFL. It's gotten crazier and crazier every year, and this is going to be, to me, the craziest because there's some rumors about Lamar and. Obviously, what's going to happen with Rodgers and Brady and Derek Carr and, all these moving pieces in the NFL. And we were talking about receiver, too. That's another interesting thing because the receiver position now has really, really become important. And you see all these good teams and you see all the receivers getting $100 million contracts because, look, all the teams left, the Bills, I mean, I know they're out, but they got Diggs. San Francisco has Debo and Ayuk. Obviously, we talked about the Ravens, they haven't got a receiver, but the Eagles went and got A.J. Brown. The Bengals have their receivers. The Chiefs, obviously they had Tyreek, but they have Kelsey and Schuster. And that's going to be an issue too, because Mahomes' contract kicks in this year. And their 2 tackles are free agents. Juju Smith-Schuster's a free agent. They're going to have trouble keeping that team around him. And it's going to be curious with all these quarterbacks in the AFC, and now Lawrence is starting to kind of show his
and look,
talk about Lawrence real quick, Coach. Talk about Lawrence.
Because Calvin Ridley is a Jaguar. And people don't realize he comes off, you're adding an A1 receiver to that young talent pool. And I think you saw Evan Ingram really be what he could have been in New York, never could be in New York, is that pass catching receiver that he was drafted to be. And I think he earned another contract with them because he only signed a 1-year deal. So I think Jacksonville's going to be a team around, especially Doug is he's the man, I think, and he'll do it. He's done a great job turning that franchise around
quickly.
Yeah, well, and what Doug's great at too is having teams with a ton of adversity and not losing them. I mean, the Eagles, the last 2 years he was there, except for his last year, obviously, but the 2 years after the Super Bowl run, bad starts and had to win 5-6 games down the stretch to get in the playoffs. They did it. Obviously, I mean, with the Jags too, they were losing in 5 of the last 6 games and they came back. So, I mean, obviously from the team they were last year and all the drama going on with Urban Meyer, I mean, what a turnaround. I mean, they have bought in. And look, Doug's proven himself Doug's one of the better coaches in the NFL. And when you have a Super Bowl winning coach come out there, I mean, he should kind of like Peyton's getting the attention this year. I mean, you deserve obviously a lot of eyes on you.
Yep. I heard a beep in here. Let me see if I can. My screen's not
Billy
big enough. Can I add it in here? I don't know.
Bigger too with that Eagles win.
How do I yeah, I'm having trouble getting them in there.
You serious? You actually can't get it, man. I thought you were making jokes.
Yeah, Professor.
No, I can't.
I don't miss it, Coach.
I can't get them in. I can't.
I wish we could have at the bottom.
See them.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But having just on the bottom every show.
Get the music.
Billy, man, I'm having issues, man, because you're behind this screen that I can't get down. Where I invited everybody, I can't get it down, and I can't scroll up or down on it. Oh, here we go. Wait, here we go. Hold on.
Coach,
here we go.
Here we go. Trying to do Billy, and then instead of you talking about getting Billy for 25 minutes.
Nah. Listen, you know what it was. You know what it really was. He didn't want to see me because, brother.
That's why I believe it, Billy. He knows. I wouldn't wear that blue.
Man.
I wouldn't wear it. I'd be
I wear it
embarrassed.
proudly, baby. I am proud. Come on. Listen, you guys know I get my fandom gets in my way. Okay. But come on. And it happened last week. I start drinking the Kool-Aid because I get my fandom going. But come on. Name a guy other than Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams on that defense.
You
really?
are.
I mean, we had pedestrians playing linebacker, guys that could have been at Wawa, and name a guy catching the football, please. I mean,
first of all, I'm not gonna let you have that because your defense.
So
listen, you are who we thought you were, and we busted your ass.
Yo. And I will say this because you guys know, everybody knows, I'm a guy. I love going for it on fourth down.
No,
but when the Eagles, wait a second, wait. Let me finish.
No way.
When the Eagles marched down the field that easily on you, and then you went for it on fourth down in the middle of the field, and on top of that, you got an intentional grounding on top of that. Gave the Eagles a half a field. I mean, it really, the game was almost over right there at that point. Because if you punt it, make them earn it. Make them have to march down the whole football field to score points at that point. You know what I mean? And then you turn around and punt with three, like you said earlier, Nick, with down 3 scores. So, you know, but.
You guys
listen, I'm excited. We had a great season. I had the Giants winning 4 games. So, I mean, you know, we won 9, went to the playoff.
You thought you guys were going to beat us by 7. Oh, my God. I said 21. I should have added an extra 10 for good measure. So, you're right. I was wrong. I should have added an extra 10. I should have. I should have added an extra 10. Come on, Dan. The thing is this. Here's the thing, man. You guys are a couple pieces away from being contenders, but you just weren't good enough this year. You weren't good enough there, huh?
Hey, listen.
There we go. We got Nevada Nick back.
I got an idea. Unless Coach needs to say anything extra, I think we should talk about this fantastic weekend we're coming up with these
beautiful.
matchups.
Beautiful.
I mean, for football fans in general. This weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 great games. It really is.
Yeah.
To me, you got the 2 best teams in each conference. You really do.
Agreed.
The mantle of Broadway Joe, in my opinion, has been passed.
Yeah.
Because he is, whether it's calm weather, in the dome, outside in the elements, that guy throws dimes. It was disgusting to watch how he was just, picking them apart. And poor Diggs, man, he's been in the same spot at the end of the season for the last 2 years. He left the Minnesota Vikings, to go to the Buffalo Vikings. That's what happened. It's just
they said he packed his stuff and was out of the locker room before the coaches even got into the locker room after that game.
As he should. That was totally, first of all, home field advantage. Home field advantage, number 1. Number 2, Cincinnati could be kind of used to it, but you got the elements on your side, you got home field advantage on your side, and you are like the 21, almost the 14 to 21 point favorite, Nick? What was Buffalo?
Who? Buffalo was they were 6.
They were one of the 5 or 6.
6. But still a big line.
But still, you're still the favorite, and then you go out and lay that monumental goose egg.
It was bad.
It
really
bad,
was.
Dude.
No, it was embarrassing. To me, the big talk in this game, it's going to be really hard to kind of know what's going on until you find out about Patrick Mahomes. Because when you watch the first and the second half, and look, he's a great player. But, man, the first half, he's doing jump passes and the sidearm throws.
Right.
And, if he's – and, look, I looked it up. A grade 1 high ankle sprain, which is obviously your best case scenario, they say you should be out for 2 weeks and should stay off it because if you don't, re-injury or aggravation is more likely, obviously. And – it's going to be tough. And look, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm bringing the rush up the middle of the offensive line.
Hendrickson's going to have field day.
And look, Andy's going to have to. And the Chiefs do have a good line, but you're going to see, if I'm Andy, you're going to see a lot of Pacheco, and you're going to see a lot of what the Bengals did to the Bills, and it's back and get rid of the ball, back and get rid of the ball. That's what they're going to have to do, because if not, it could get ugly.
Who's their backup quarterback anyway for the Chiefs?
Chad Henne.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
I mean, he had a nice 98.
Hey, he had a 98-yard drive, right?
And he's also been in the league for a cup of coffee, so he understands the situation.
Yeah, and look, they ran the ball, and it was a lot of short passes. I mean, Kelsey had 14 catches for 98 yards. It's 7 yards a catch, so it wasn't explosive plays. But hey, man, as long as you're moving the chains, that's what matters. And those long drives are killer.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say this. I mean, it's the biggest question is even if he is healthy, man, how are the Chiefs going to stop Joe Burrow in that offense, man?
Joe Burrow is undefeated against the Chiefs. Joe Burrow is undefeated against the Chiefs.
4-0.
But trust me, that's in Mahomes. Mahomes wants a piece of him. Trust me. If you don't think a guy like Mahomes, who in his 5th year of starting is in his 5th home AFC Championship game, which just speaks to him, that's another reason he wants to play this game. And you got to really respect the guts. Obviously he was flipped out when they wanted to, which I know one of the reasons Andy did that was because I guarantee what happened with the Eagles with McNabb when he broke his fibula and he let him play. And then they found out he broke his fibula after the game. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting because I mean, the Bengals, they got the Chiefs number right now. It's pretty crazy. 3 games.
They're spooky. They're spooky. They are a very spooky looking team. Like, I'm just like, oh man. I had said it before the playoffs. I said, man, what if we get through the the NFC Championship and get to the Super Bowl? I don't know if I want to see the Chiefs. Well, now I'm saying I don't know if I want to see the Bengals, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're almost like a team of destiny right now, but I mean, we'll definitely see. But man, wow.
Well,
wow.
The Chiefs, they're a lot, like everybody talks about the offense and since Hill, they're scoring.
Man, listen to these guys already bypassing the Niners, not giving any respect to the Niners. You guys are already just, assuming you're going to the Super Bowl. Man.
Can I raise my hand? If you play back the audio, I said if we get through the NFC Championship. So that means that's if. That's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do some grammar here. Okay. If.
All right. And
in my opinion,
I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying.
And in my opinion, this is the Super Bowl. In my humble opinion,
look, hey, Spicy Girl, we're gonna have to have you on because what happened? I want to know what happens if Tom Brady becomes a Raider because he is the, he is in the craw of every Raider fan. I mean,
I thought that wasn't a possibility. Yeah. I said that last week, and I was the Yahoo.
There goes Coach with his ADHD again, all over the place.
Yes, I know. We got some Raiders in the house. I had to give them a shout out.
Yeah, so I didn't see anything there. You guys were all breaking up on me. Look, Coach, I didn't say nothing in regards to the Niners. We were talking about the Chiefs game. Honestly, especially going up until last week, and I really thought the Niners were better than the Eagles, to be honest with you. To me, the Eagles haven't played anybody. And I'm not being a hater. They're my team. But I'm honest with what I see with my eyes. The one thing I'm starting to lean to, though, is Hurts versus Purdy. And look, Purdy's been good and is a great story. But, I mean, it's going to be a great game. There's no way I think the Eagles are just going to me, it's going to come down to this. Who runs the ball better? Obviously, who stops the run better? And then turnovers. Turnovers are key. You saw it in the Dallas game. And I said that, the same thing in that game. I think it's going to be a close, tight game. And I'm interested to see. But look, I got a ticket on the Niners to win the Super Bowl at 11-1. I got the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. But yeah, I had those 2 teams in the Bills. Those were my 3 tickets to win the Super Bowl.
Look at Billy.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, those were, I think the Eagles, I was worried about their experience. I didn't think they played anybody. And look, still, I think we're overreacting to beating the Giants. The Eagles didn't play great down the run. And the other thing, too, which worried me, and look, he finally did it last game, but the Eagles their strength is running the football. And Sirianni, like that last game against the Giants, and now I wonder if he was kind of trying to throw the Giants off. But Hurts is coming back from injuring his shoulder, and let's start the game throwing the ball 9 times. Just like the Bears game, you're playing a team with the number 1 pick, and you run Jalen Hurts 16 times. I mean, you can't do that. And I was getting pissed off and frustrated, obviously, because this team's much better. We have Miles Sanders, who is completely underutilized. I mean, you saw Gainwell, 12 for 112. There's talent there. I mean, yeah, Hurts should run the ball sometimes, and he has to keep you honest with the RPO. But you don't run him 16 times. You've seen with Lamar. You've seen with Kyler Murray. That eventually will cost you your franchise quarterback. So you got to be smart with it, kind of like a Russell Wilson. He's the one I always like to go to, how they ran with him so that you don't have these injuries down.
Russell Wilson always he gets to the sidelines or he slides.
Right.
Yeah, he knows that baseball slide from playing ball in college. Here's my question for you. So last week before he went down, we saw Tony Pollard with some excellent burst against the Niners defense, and he was really having his way in a lot of ways with Niners defense. So who's going to provide that for Coach? You got me, man. You're breathing there into everything, just all breath.
I thought Coach might have been watching something special on his computer or something.
Coach was like, "Ooh, yeah."
He's on Tinder. He's on Grindr right now.
Yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. So, that's you, brother. Yeah, brother.
Who on the Eagles is gonna run the way Pollard does? Is it gonna be Gainwell? Is it gonna be Miles Sanders? Like, what's the game plan for the run? Little Boston Scott, who's my size. Like, what's happening? Like
the giant killer.
I mean, obviously, I think it's Sanders. Because I think he's their best running back. But I think you saw something out of Gainwell too last week. So I think it's those two. But like that's one thing with the Cowboys I've never understood. I mean, I was saying it in the start of that game last week. I'm like, Zeke's too slow for this Niners defense. They got to run Pollard. And Pollard's so much more explosive. I mean, Zeke had like 70 more carries, and Pollard still had 200 more yards. So just to give you how much better Pollard was. And you know what it is? It's Jerry Jones saying, I'm paying this guy $15 million a year. Don't make me look bad. Run the ball with him. Yeah. I mean, obviously they lose Pollard in that game, and that was killer. Sorry to
don't make me look bad. That annexation of Puerto Rico play at the end where Zeke thought he was Booby Miles and snapped the ball. Get out of here.
There was no play
out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen.
Hey, Coach, put up Jared's comment about stopping Kittle.
What's up, Angela? Say hi to Mother Moon for me too.
Yeah, say hi to Mother Moon. Which one?
He put up. He was talking to Nevada Nick. He said you got to stop Kittle and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. We should put that up and we should talk about that because McCaffrey. Correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't they a little bit worried about McCaffrey with a lingering injury right now? Possibly.
He was doing something on the sideline. I think was it his calf, Professor? It was something and he was like trying to do something. So, but look, honestly, I think they run the ball better with Elijah Mitchell, to be honest with you. He seems to be more powerful in between the tackles. Mm-hmm. Obviously, McCaffrey, more speed, better on the outside, better in the passing game. But I think they might run the ball better with Elijah Mitchell. But, too, you say about Kittle, let's not forget Deebo Samuel, who now they're starting to run more because they're in important games. And, Brandon Ayuk's had a breakout year, too. So the Niners are one of those teams, too, that are loaded with weapons, and a reason that Brock Purdy's been able to be successful with a coach like Shanahan because he puts his quarterbacks in great positions.
Yeah, and you make a great point, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me that a guy like Kittle, who's a really complete tight end, doesn't even have. He's an afterthought on this team. Yeah. Like that's what we need to talk about. Like a lot of weeks, he's an afterthought. So the weeks where they have to bring where they can create mismatches with him, the Niners are a tough team, and Kyle Shanahan might be the best coach in the league. Yeah. Year to year. So this is a heavyweight matchup between what the Eagles have done as an organization and coaching and putting it all together. Because you got on that defense, you got how many of those guys had 10+ sacks? Was it 7? 4. Okay, 4.
Four.
Well, I added a lot more. I did some Coach Muddle math there. God. Yeah, but you got guys capable of generating a pass rush, of course, on both teams. This is going to be an awesome game. I think this is going to be a better game than KC and Bengals for sure.
This. I'm telling you, this is the Super Bowl right here.
They we talk about that because usually one of the two conference games ends up being better than the actual big game. So you might be right.
Well, to be honest, going in, I really thought the AFC was better than the NFC. And with Mahomes' injury and the injury to the 3 offensive linemen in the Bengals, and look, you saw it in that Rams game. Now, the Bengals had the lead for most of that Super Bowl, but in the fourth quarter, what cost them? That offensive line and that Rams pass rush. Now, Professor, no, I mean, look, the Eagles and the Niners, the one thing they're very similar in, and look, one of the reasons the Eagles have been a top 3 organization, top 5 organization, if you want to question me, the last 20 years, they invest in offense and defensive line.
Yes.
And they've done it since Andy went in there. Andy's first free agent was John Runyon. Mm-hmm. So, they know you need to invest in the offense and defensive lines. And that's what, is the best on the Niners and the Eagles. They're great up front on both sides of the ball. And it's going to be really interesting to see that Eagles offensive line and Lane Johnson against Nick Bosa and that great Niners offensive.
And he paused.
He went out. Oh, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think honestly, look, Brock's a rookie, and Philadelphia is a tough place to play, regardless of what you are. So if the Niners can limit his mistakes as a rookie in that environment, I think they have a great chance to come away with the victory on Sunday.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to who can get the running game going. It's going to come down to, is Brock Purdy going to play like the Brock Purdy we've seen from the second part of the season, or is his true colors going to show, and the youth and an experience comes out. So we'll see. I mean, Eagles are going to have to provide an amazing pass rush, which, like you said, Professor, they are very capable of. Up front, for the Eagles, Lane Johnson is kind of dealing with that ongoing injury, as we saw against those giants, little giants, whatever you want to call them.
What? Oh, you just took me back, man. Giants.
Them little Giants. They were the Giants. They were the G-men all year long. Come play Philly. The little Giants, help us, God. Nick, you back?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Coach's shitty internet's transferring to my computer, I think. Coach's fucking dial-up. It's like fucking
listen,
AOL back
listen, no, man. Listen. I went and hijacked the neighbor's internet, man, and I know they paid top dollar. They got good internet, okay?
Yeah, I'm sure. Coach is on Pornhub.
I went and ran the wire. I went and ran the wire.
Hacking my computers.
Yeah.
Coach got that home net internet.
Yeah,
I'm working for Russia right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
I get it from Russia.
Red suit again.
Oh, real tears, people. Real tears. Oh my God.
No, but yeah, I mean, talking about the games. I mean, honestly, this is when football's great, and it's kind of sad at the same point because I love football season, and now you're down to the last 2 weekends, obviously. But it's gonna be really interesting. I'm kind of flipping back and forth on the Eagles-Niners game. Like I said, I really thought the Niners were gonna win. But we'll see. I think Hurts might give the Eagles the advantage. And then the Bengals game is tough because, like I said,
We lost him again.
No, you can't make this up.
Nick's got MediaCom.
Look,
the rest of us
listen. He blames it on me all the time, and I believe finally we're seeing that it's a Nevada Nick problem, not a Coach Muddle problem. Okay?
Well,
But he might be right. You might be running a few things on the computer. Like we heard you breathing earlier. You got like several screens up, I'm sure.
Look, I have no screens up. The only other screen I have up was I'm still messing with the Google Voice thing to try to get phone calls in. Other than that, I don't have anything else up.
Man, I was
So,
gonna say if you didn't know any better, you would say Nevada's sleep.
Matt, I gotta tell you, we got Jared on the chat. Jared, I appreciate you mentioned. I see you mentioned a little WWE Raw in Philly. Very cool. He made a great point. He said the Eagles and Niners, man, it could be a coin flip, and I agree. Like that's the way I feel about that game. And
Nevada
honestly,
Nick.
if we're gonna talk about it, I feel like whichever team escapes the NFC is most likely going to win the Super Bowl. That's my pick.
Really? Oh,
yeah, whichever team.
All right.
Nevada,
Okay.
Nick, go ahead and hurry up.
Because I believe that the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs, and I believe that offensive line issue is going to be a major problem. There goes Nevada Nick again.
Nick again.
Mama, there goes that man.
Man.
Yo, Nevada's got to come on, do his spiel, and then hurry up off.
Oh, I thought it came back on. That's why I put him back in, but I'll wait. But, I mean, he's got to upgrade the card, man. What is he paying by the minute? He's paying internet by the minute, man. Come on.
It's a pay as you go at the 7-Eleven. That's where
pay as you go. Yes, man.
He's over there getting a tornado and a Slurpee.
Oh man! I tell you what,
he got Sprint internet, and they're not even around anymore.
MCI, he's got MCI.
MCI dial up, man.
Atlantic Bell.
Oh my gosh!
But
Coach,
man. I think like you guys said earlier, I think that the Bengals, not that they would handle Kansas City, but I think they do some things well and they escape with the win. I'm going to give them +3.
Yeah, I like the Bengals as well. I like the Bengals in this.
And I'm gonna say the Eagles +6.
Okay.
+6. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. And now if it is, I'll be absolutely stunned. But I'm going to say Eagles +6.
Okay. I like the Niners. I think Robbie Gould, the PA guy, going to come in and kick a game-winning field goal.
Matter of fact, we'll go one further. Overtime +6.
I like that.
Overtime +6. All right.
Here's is Dicker the kicker still on the team, or they cut him?
No, he's not. He was.
That was a trial run, baby. That was just to get Jake Elliott.
Yeah, but no, he's out in I want to say, is he a Charger or?
Because he played in the playoffs. He was somewhere.
Oh, so he was with the Chargers or Jacksonville, one of the other, one of them. But
Billy's gone again. Oh man.
I'm
not going. I'm not going.
I got you.
I got good.
Man, Spicy is hell bent that the Niners are going to get blown out. Man,
I don't
that hatred runs deep out there in the Bay Area.
I'm loving the chat tonight. The chat was definitely full of piss and vinegar. Jared came from my neck all night, messing with me up being a Ravens fan all night. And Jared's asking, Coach Billy is an Eagles fan. He's been asking all night.
Yes. I'm sorry I missed it, Jared. I'm trying. I'm blind as a bat. I can't really see very well, but I guess I need a new prescription for my glasses.
You need something. You need prayer.
I need something.
You need Jesus. You need Jesus. You need Rogaine and some new eyeglasses. Is Billy still there?
Not necessarily in that order.
I'm still there.
Somebody hacking up a lung over there.
I'm still here.
Yeah, Billy's playing with us.
All right.
Coach, man, I got to tell you, thanks again for having us on tonight. I love the NFL every year. Every year I say this, but Every year it feels like it's no better year to be a football fan, even when your team's not in it.
Right.
Um, I love um, I love what a lot of GMs are doing. I know some people think that parity is bad in the NFL, but I also think that they've proven that um, parity is not a real thing if you don't have competent general managers. Because when you've got idiots running the ship, they'll find a way to screw things up. So I don't necessarily believe in parity.
I.e. Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Um, I love what we're seeing. And I love the fact too. Everyone thought
But
that
they got to get rid of the ties. Got to get rid of the
I
ties.
hate
If
the ties.
there's one thing they do, they got to get rid of the ties.
Yeah.
Nobody else has ties
Listen,
anywhere else. Hockey even got rid of the tie.
this is how they do it, right? This is how they do it. What you do is you go college rules. Start on the 25, or heck, since NFL started at the 30. He's back. Start at the 30, and then give each team a possession,
Right.
and then after the first overtime, you got to go for 2.
Billy, don't talk. We
Yeah.
gotta let Nick
Go,
talk.
Nick.
Let
Go,
Nick,
go, Nick.
Did you freeze again?
Not hear you now. I was froze for a second there. Though.
All right.
I got a
All
thing
right.
from your thing. It
All
says Coach is on some bad sites, but it is. I got a notification from mine's bigger than yours is.
He's back on LimeWire, Coach.
What game were we talking about? The Eagles or
All of them?
all of them?
we just started talking about like how we kind of enjoy like the state of the NFL and how like parity is not really a real thing anymore, and that's because of the way general managers work.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of general managers are turning out to be pretenders.
Mm-hmm.
And as Macho Man Randy Savage once said, the cream rises to the top. So
yeah,
that's what makes the NFL great. I mean, look at the Bengals, who were 1-15, and then 2 years later in the Super Bowl. The Eagles. I mean, after Chip Kelly left. I mean, they were in shambles, and then 2 years later, we win the Super Bowl. That's why the NFL is great, and they set up their league that way too. So, like the Eagles, who are in first place now, the next year they'll play a first place schedule. So you're going to play 4 teams that are in first place. I'm not in love with Mahomes. I mean, he's the best quarterback in football. You can't deny it. I know you hate him, Angela, and I get it. I would hate him too if I was in the AFC West. But I mean, you can't deny the guy's the best quarterback in football. I mean,
yeah, he is.
He just is.
Hands down, you can't deny it.
You're starting 5 home AFC championship games. I wish I was good like that, man.
Well, give us your picks before you freeze again, please.
All right. So, look, it's tough. Both games are tough. I'm going to go 27-23 Bengals beat the Chiefs again. I am a little worried for somehow, even with Mahomes' injury, the Chiefs pull one out by running the ball, but I just don't know about Andy running the ball from my years of experience with him with the Eagles. And the Eagles game, man, it's really tough. And I'll be honest, I really thought the Niners all year. I thought they were better. I'm going to go Eagles 20-17.
Okay.
I think they're both going to be close games, under a touchdown. Another great thing about the NFL, like Professor was saying, I can't remember what it is, but like the playoff games, I think it's like 75% of them over the last couple of years have all been under a touchdown. So, close games, down to the wire. So, yeah, I mean, I can't wait till Sunday, and hopefully we're talking about our 3rd Super Bowl since
that's going to be our poll question.
Put me as far as
it's going to be a poll question.
Me and Big Bird aren't even in the same class. He's in love with me.
Nick, you brought.
Much like Tom Brady, I respect greatness. I really do. And I mean, what Mahomes has done is just and look, he is the Chiefs. I mean, look, you lose Hill. And I don't think they're as good as they were, but still, I mean, the things he can do, I mean, it's impressive. I mean, it really is. If he was on the Raiders, it would be, probably a different ball game for the Raiders. It really would be.
And if you lose Mahomes, then that's a 4-win team, like you were talking about earlier. Like that is a bottom of the barrel team. If you lose Mahomes, they don't have the pieces around them, to keep things moving. It really is all on his back. I gotta say, with the Eagles and the Niners, it's one of those situations that's going to be, like you said, like that's going to be the closest game you can imagine. But I'm wondering, based on what we saw the Niners not be able to put away a limping Cowboys team, I'm wondering if the Eagles have just too much talent, especially wide receiver. Because it's a big difference when Michael Gallup, when he's your second guy, or Devontae Smith, there's no comparison.
Yeah, well, I think too that it's going to come down like the Cowboys game. It's going to come down to 5 or 6 plays, turnovers. What team plays harder, plays smarter. And look, with the Eagles, they do have some guys that played this game. But look, you got to give that check mark to the Niners. They've been in 3 of the last 4 NFC Championship games, so they do have the experience. This is, trust me, as the more you progress here, people can say, oh, it's just another game. It's not. And these games are made for special people. Look at Nick Foles. Some people rise, some people fall apart. And it's a special breed that are made for these games. What's that, Coach?
I said like a cheap card table.
Yeah, no, it's the truth, though. Some guys can do it, and some guys can't. I believe it hurts. I'm not worried about that. I think, he'll ball out. But, they're a team with, that haven't been – and a couple of the offensive linemen that haven't had experiences in big games like this. So I'm curious to see how they look. And Sirianni, too. He's another one, hasn't coached in a game like this. So,
man.
Right.
Hey, I'm not going to let you disrespect him. He knows what the fuck he's doing. All right? He knows what he's doing. And he can be down here.
I mean, look at Reed. Reed couldn't get over the hump till he got Mahomes. And, I love Andy. I really do. I think he's behind Belichick, the best coach in football. But, he needed Mahomes to get him over the hump. I mean, there were some Eagles teams there. If they would have got some receivers, I think they could have won. I agree.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah, and you look too, Andy kind of still, you got to give him that reputation. He's 1-2 in Super Bowls, and then he's got 5 NFC championships with the Eagles, and he was 1-4, and 5 AFC championships with the Chiefs, and he's 2-2 right now. So he's 3-6 in championship games. If he loses this one, it'll be 3-7, which not really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So, any closing remarks? I'll just go around the box there, Professor.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
All right, Billy.
Hey, man, just be tuned for a wild game. Should be fun, man. Wild couple games, and then after that we get ready for XFL, baby, The Rock.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Nevada Nick.
Thanks for having me on, Coach. It was a pleasure. It was par for the course with the internet troubles and Coach, scrolling through porn as I try to carry his end of the show. But Coach, I didn't hear your prediction. Please don't pick the Eagles. Whatever. Coach. Whatever he can't pick his nose, so whatever he picks, the opposite's gonna happen.
Jesus Christ.
I said the Pennsylvania boy Robbie Gould going to kick the game-winning field goal for the Niners.
As long as
and I like Cincinnati.
Okay. So that would be a rematch of '89 when it was Cincy.
'89, yeah.
Niners, yeah.
Yep. Boomer Esiason, yep.
There's
John
a lot
Taylor.
of good storylines that could happen. You could have Andy versus old team, Chiefs Eagles, and then obviously the rematch of Chiefs Niners of a couple years ago, or the rematch of years ago where the Bengals and the Niners played. So I think look, either way, I think it's going to be a great game. And if the Chiefs do win, I think those 2 weeks will kind of get Mahomes to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But like Tony Schiavone said, we're desperately out of time.
Yeah. Coach wouldn't know what that is.
Yep. All right.
Dumbass.
All right, brothers.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone, listen. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
Take your steroids.
We will.
Coach knows about, right, Coach?
Yep. Because what are you going to do when these pythons run wild on you, brother?
He was a road
All
rat.
right.
Oh, no.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great time. And we'll We'll be back next week. Angela, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate everyone. We appreciate share it with your friends. And, we'll see you hopefully next week if all goes well.
Yeah,
Peace out,
Jared, they'd be
everyone.
better
Be
off
safe.
with Angela and Mama Moon running